It's unbelievable, but less than 15 years ago, all of this wilderness was the polluted wastewater basins of a sugar factory. Today, 69% of all of the bird species in Slovenia were seen here. Water buffaloes roaming freely, otters, turtles, and insane biodiversity. And there's so much more. Everything feels so real and just too good to be truth.
This place is a paradise for birds.
It's hard to believe that it's actually artificially made place. I cannot imagine how it was before, when it was a sugar factory here.
It was like this? Okay, let me explain the full story. Ormož sugar factory was built in 1977 to produce sugar out of beets. And to do so, they needed to put a lot of wastewater somewhere. So they built up wastewater basins. All was good for about 30 years, until in 2006 the new reform of the EU agricultural policy, together with reduced sugar prices and taxes, made the whole production unprofitable. And the factory was closed. Yet, during the years, this wastewater area became a hotspot for birds, and after closure, it became dry, and there was a huge risk of losing this important habitat. That's why NGO DOPPS proposed to convert basins area into nature reserve. And surprisingly, in 2010, the whole area of basins was handed to DOPPS, completely free of charge. Yeah, I know, it's unusual when commercial company donates such a huge part of their property to an NGO, but that's exactly what's happened.
We could never imagine that something like that would happen, that the entire area would be actually designated only to the nature. That was luckily due to our cooperation with the factory, which started already in the early 90s. At that time we created artificial nesting rafts for common terns, black-headed gulls and so on. After we proposed a special management plan and restoration plan for the area, they decided actually to give the area to DOPPS, BirdLife Slovenia. The former wastewater basins were converted to something good for nature.
They had a system of pipes through which actually this dirty water came into the lagoons. And those pipes were taken apart once this became the nature reserve. So we take the water from the lake, and so the water comes into the first lagoon and then it flows into all the following lagoons.
There's a hide made from an old shipping container. You wouldn't believe it, how fancy it actually looks inside. Come on. Everything is new here. It's just the outside that looks old. Total peace and quiet. You just hear birds and frogs.
Yeah, you would never know actually that these ponds are artificially made. It feels like so natural here.
Yeah. The nature definitely has taken over already.
We noticed that different birds require different habitats, and then we realized that we have to make very heterogeneous landscape. So you have some that have more water, it's more for water birds, such as, for example, ducks and crakes. And there are some that are more like grasslands, which are used then as buffalo grazing spots, but also the ones they have a few wetter spots, and there's also like a small stream, and those parts are actually intended for the birds on migration.
Now, here are 55 water buffaloes. They live freely in semi-wild conditions, and their only job is to cut grass to keep vegetation low, which they happily do. Also, some old factory buildings were converted into something new.
This used to be wastewater engine room, and now it's a seed bank for many Slovenian plant species. Let's take a look what's inside.
So this place was all rearranged, had pumps and machines, and we also purchased these 4 freezers, which are now used as a seed banks. So this is the collection of seeds from 2023. Everything is documented, so we know which species is inside, when it was collected. Once you scan the code, you also see who collected it on which meadow, so we know exactly from where the seeds came. the biodiversity on these grasslands is disappearing very rapidly. We know that we lost in the past 10 to 15 years a few species from Slovenia. So we just wanted, to get all of this diversity while it still exists so we can use it later on. So the idea is to take these seeds, multiply them, and then use those multiplied seeds for grassland restoration.
But we also need to rewild a few patches of land in Ormož Lagoon. And that's why we went to collect seeds in another meadows all across Slovenia.
I think it's full. I like this machine, it's very interesting. First of all, you can collect so many seeds, but secondly, it almost doesn't damage the plant. So you just go through and it seems like they all cut it, but it's actually not, they just bend it and all the seeds are pretty much collected. Like here, you see, I just went through, the plant is still here, but there's no seeds left.
Those meadows are actually very endangered. What are we trying to do is to keep them alive. So we collect the seeds and then put it safe in bank or put it in the other meadow to renaturate it. We try to collect 24 different species in one meadow.
On this meadow that we are brushing now, I bought it personally because it was really special. It has still orchids on it, around 8 specimens. And today there are more than 100. Actually, we don't count it anymore because it's so many of them.
That's nice.
Yeah, this must be made by the state, that the farmers could survive and make meadows like this.
So we're now spreading out the material so the insects can escape and it dries up a little bit.
Really always nice to see the fruit from barley on that arable field. This is an invasive alien species, Erigeronanus, which has become very common on Slovenian and also European dry grasslands. So I'm going to take it out as much as I can. Okay. We already have it in Lagune. So we don't need any more, right? Yeah, you can try it. It's not very good, but it's peppery. You can feel it's hot.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a pepper. Wow, crazy.
Yeah.
Nah, it's not. Yeah.
This is for seed bank. We don't need so many, but if you see, it's really time consuming.
For one species?
5,000 per species per one plot.
On one location?
On one location, yes.
Biodiverse meadows offer a number of ecosystem services. One of them is definitely for pollinators, and pollinators are very important also for pollinating the crops that we eat. They're also very important for decreasing the erosion risk. For example, here, if there was just bare soil here, all of the soil would actually be flooded down the hill. This is also habitat for parasites that feed or parasitize on insects that otherwise decimate crops, so
Many benefits.
Many benefits, yeah.
That's one of the bags of the seeds that we collected today, and we brought it actually back to the lagoon where we're gonna store it and dry.
After, all of these seeds will be sown right here in the lagoons, instead of the monoculture barley field. And by doing that, it will be converted into a nice meadow.
The factory was very important. Over 400 people were employed at that time and so on. So that was quite a negative thing at first for the local community, but now maybe in different form we are giving something back to the community.
Yeah.
And also this is now not only a nature reserve protecting animals and so, but it is also intended to educate people. So it is nature reserve opened freely for public.
I think we can use this as an example, and every abandoned factory we could transform into the nice grasslands, wetlands, and just rewild everything.
Yeah, it's beautiful. If you'd like to visit lagoons and volunteer for DOPPS, links are in the description. And as usual, like this video, comment, subscribe to our channel, support us on Patreon, and be brave to act.